welcome to another wonderful edition of the Untold Truths, broadcasting from the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I am Zalisa Budu Singh Rupani, and of course, the one and only
Master Eric. Good evening, everybody. Sitaram, Assalamu Alaikum, Sairam, and good evening, everybody.
It's Friday, the 1st of July, 2022.
And it's the most popular day of the week. Everybody waits for Friday.
Everybody waits. We're all saying, thank God it's Friday. And sometimes, Master Eric, we get so caught up in thinking, thank God it's Friday, and we're looking forward to the weekend in great anticipation, that we really lose the essence of today,
That's
because
true.
we're so caught up in thinking, oh, the weekend is here, and we lose the beauty of today.
So, Zalisa, we talked about what we was going to talk about today, this morning.
We did, huh?
And it looked like you really wanted to go after this show tonight.
I think, I'll tell you, I got a lot of calls earlier on before I came here, and messages with people just, telling me how grateful they are for the information and the topics that we cover. I think a lot of people were very, very grateful to find out what happens to the soul, that we explored that topic this morning.
Right.
And it really resonated with a lot of people. They were looking for answers,
And all of you people that's not from Trinidad and Tobago, and I know we got people from Taiwan and other countries that is watching, and also Chicago, I know you're watching too. And thanks for the message this morning. You could go on Facebook, Conversations with Zalisa TT, on Friday mornings, 10 o'clock Trinidad time. All right? And you can start watching those programs because they're different from this one. So we're doing two different topics every day on a Friday. This one just gets a little deeper, but they're both fantastic, and hopefully it can help you.
Speaking of helping you, I want to remind you, questions, concerns, comments, this is what the program has been designed to do. Reach out, transform, and help, more importantly. So any questions, concerns, or comments you may have, we welcome that. Please remember to take the numbers down: 354-4459. That's 354-4459, or my number 384-7142. That's 384-7142. And we'll be happy to, Master Eric will be more than happy to answer those concerns or those questions you may have. Let me also say a beautiful evening and thank you to that gorgeous lady in North Carolina, Renuka. Thank you for your comments and your kind words and for always being alert and on top of things. We love you, and thanks again, our number one fan.
And she actually writes superior questions.
I'm telling you, she's simply awesome.
So can you come over and check this for me? But everybody today, I'll let Zalisa tell you the topic we're going to be talking about today.
Well, today it's going to be, I know we started off talking about the soul and what happens to the soul this morning on Conversations with Zalisa. But we thought today we're going to talk about something that's not just, wrecking families and homes and people in particular here in Trinidad and Tobago, but throughout the world: infidelity. What do you think about infidelity?
So, my question to you is, Zalisa, what is your opinion what infidelity is? Let me hear it from a woman's point of view.
Infidelity. It's when you have, my perspective is, when you have that full trust and faith in that special someone, the person that you choose to spend the rest of your life with, the person that you desire, the person that would want to be your partner for life. And when that person, whether it's husband or wife, they become dishonest in terms of infidelity, it touches and hurt your soul. Your soul is broken. That's how I feel. It's something that sometimes you can't find the words to describe the hurt and the pain and the disappointment and the void that you feel.
So, I mean, you're supposed to be asking me the question, but I'm asking you now. So, and nothing's pre-planned on this program, people. So my question is, what is considered infidelity?
That's a very good question, because I remember clearly asking you a particular question since you are the expert here. I asked Master Eric, and I'll ask you now, with regards to, of course, infidelity, we all know, or we term, or we think it's when you cheat, or you go out of your marriage and have an affair or a relationship with someone else, whether it's a man or woman, given the times that we're in. But there was a question that I asked you, Master Eric, and that was, what do you think if your partner is, because now we are aware of what's happening on social media, and this becomes a companion to many people, young and old. This is your friend, your companion. Some people live on this with their heads down, not enjoying the world and enjoying life because they're so caught up with this. And they can be easily influenced or fooled in many ways. And like I said, Master Eric, let me ask you a question. If you are chatting with someone someone that perhaps you don't even know, they live in another part of the world, but you're having a conversation all the time and you're chatting, and it becomes like really good friends, and you're sending little heart notes and little kissy things and flowers and whatever. What is that considered? Because you're in a marriage, but yet you're having conversations with someone that you probably never even met.
Okay.
You're running in the toilet, you're running in the bathroom, you're running in the kitchen, you're all over the place talking to this person, can't wait as you get in the car. You understand what I'm saying? What is that?
See, there's different types of infidelity. And this is what I want to get into. And my answer to her this morning was a casual conversation, like between friends. And there isn't no romantic, there's no idea about that. That's fine. But once you get close to that gray line, and that conversation starts to include thoughts, feelings, and secrecy. Secrecy is the big thing. If you're doing something that you need to hide from your partner, that's not right.
That's what I thought about, the moment
Right.
you have that discerning spirit that this is not right, and you have to hide and you have to sneak, then something is wrong. That's my perspective.
Right. And that's a good woman's perspective.
Okay.
But women handle things a little different.
We do.
Okay. Now, I want people to understand, in the spiritual world, everything counts. Everything.
Okay.
So an action can never be done unless there was an idea and thought in place in the first place. So the thought of talking romantic or being with someone or desiring that attention that person's giving you because you're having problems at home, that is also infidelity without the physical action.
Just the thought.
The thought.
The power of thought, huh? The power of...
Now, my dad always told me, I always bring up my dad. My dad always told me, son, there's nothing wrong at looking at a woman and just praising God for his creation, because he creates beautiful women. But he says never go beyond that. Do not have lust come into the mind when you look.
Okay, so let's get some clarity here. What your father said or explained,
You can admire
it's
God's
okay.
creation.
You could look at a woman and say, yeah, she is a beautiful woman.
Even sometimes my wife, she'll look at a woman and say, my God, you're beautiful.
I do that
Right.
too.
It's not that she's a lesbian or anything.
Right, same
it's
here.
just you're admiring
Right.
the beauty.
And I'll say this as well. There are many times I would look at men and I would openly say, even on my show, I may have a guest and I'd say this young, handsome person
Right.
or this handsome, and I honestly don't mean anything out of context. I mean, you're gorgeous and you're handsome. And there's nothing wrong in explaining that. But it doesn't mean I want to have an affair.
But you never said that to me.
Well,
I'm joking. So what I'm trying to say, she's correct. It's the mindset that I'm talking about. It's what is your mind thinking at the time when you're viewing someone. You know, and that's where karma comes in. It is written, good deeds and bad deeds in the Bible. Your first action is your thought. The thought is what produces the action. So people, all I'm trying to do here is once those feelings start to come to you, stop it.
you're crossing the
You
line.
take control. You see, a lot of people, Zelisa, don't understand that you are in control of yourself. Nobody else.
Agreed.
Okay? So once you can identify and say, what am I doing? Catch it. If you catch it, people, it doesn't add in your karma. Okay? Now, one thing that I want to talk about is in the ancient scriptures,
Yeah.
not just in one, 4 major ancient beliefs. It states that for every time that is committed adultery or infidelity, it is equal to the punishment of 500 years that you have to serve. So I want you to think about it. How many of your friends are having affairs? And their spouses don't know, but you know. I mean, look all over the world, people. It's almost like a norm that men are having affairs, women are having affairs, and then if they get caught, the easy way out, divorce.
So, Master Eric, I'm going to jump right in here.
I knew you would.
I'm going to be an advocate, and I'm going to ask this.
Okay.
When you meet someone and you fall in love with someone, you know, you tell yourself, well, I look into your eyes and I see my world. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and create a life, a family, establish a home, share dreams and goals and things like that. But the fact is in life, some people do fall out of love for whatever reason.
And we're going to go over that.
And it's just difficult to live with each other because that relationship becomes toxic for many reasons. And perhaps along the line, someone is kind to you, someone is loving, someone is attentive, and it may just be a co-worker, it may just be the neighbor, it may just be somebody that shows, hey, you look very nice today. Something that your partner would not have said in years. I remember when I was on radio and I sent a birthday greeting or an anniversary greeting. Women cried and would call in and say, thank you so much for that greeting, because I've been living with my husband for X amount of years and he has not said to me, I love you. Or follow what I'm saying. So people do get involved for different reasons. My point is, when they do that, they do it because they are happy in that moment. Are we to judge someone who is making a choice to be happy? What I'm about to say is that I feel if you no longer are in love with somebody and disenchanted, it becomes toxic, and you find someone that you want to be with, then do the right thing. Have some principle. Have some character, have some feelings, have some respect for that person, and say, listen, it's not working. Let's go our separate ways and then move on. That's my perspective as a woman. When my husband was alive, I said that to him from the very beginning, when he was in China and I was in Trinidad, and we were chatting, and then when I met him and stuff like that, I said to him from day one, let me tell you something, I'm a no-nonsense woman. And the day you meet someone or you think you don't want to be with me anymore, then don't let Tom, Mary, Jane and Sally come telling me, I have to find out. You come to me like a man and say, you know what, Lisa, this is not going to work anymore. I'm happy. I want to be happier with somebody else. And that's fine with me. That's fine with me.
See, I have to bring up your husband, right? You said there could have been a long time before he said he would say he loves you. But he did it in so many other ways.
No, not my husband. My husband told me.
Say.
No, my husband told me he loved me morning, noon, and night until I never took him on. It's only when he died I realized how much he. I took it for granted.
Because
I took it for granted. I'm telling you, I took this man for granted.
And even if it wasn't your husband, somebody else's.
No, I was talking about people who would call in on radio and say it's difficult for their husband to say I love you or care about you. Or you're looking
so
nice.
What I'm trying to say with
or
that,
even thank you.
Some people wasn't raised to say that.
Is it a cultural thing then? That's
No.
a very good point that you're making there.
But they would do anything for you. But that hugging in public, unheard of.
That was me. That was me.
Showing affection in public, unheard of.
That was me.
Saying I love you, even to the kids. They were raised to not say I love you, but they would show it in so many other ways, right? So that isn't going to make somebody become and commit adultery and things like that. The first thing, people, and she brought up a good point. Why do you think the divorce rate is up to 85%? Along the whole world, okay? So, the reason it's 85% is because two things. Lack of communication is one. If things are starting not to go the way it's supposed to go, you should be able to talk to your spouse.
Agree.
And voice your opinion.
Agree.
And then if they voice their opinion and say, yeah, I hear you, but this. Listen. And then come to a compromise. Okay? Now.
Master Eric, some people listen, but do they really hear? Do they really take the time?
Not everybody.
You know?
Okay? Now, the next thing is, now there's a spiritual law. I want you to understand. There's a spiritual law. And while these divorces are just stacking up like wild, is because you're in this relationship with your spouse. Now you're starting an external relationship. Now, it's doomed. I'm telling you, it's doomed.
Yeah.
So now, out of one relationship, there's going to be two disasters happen. And if you do the thing again, it's going to happen again.
And Master Eric, I need to jump in here as well. And this goes for the person who is now involved or having a relationship with this person. If that person is aware that that person is a married person, you're just as guilty and bad, huh?
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Now, so the spiritual law is you do not and never open a new door until this door is closed.
Close. And I respect that.
Okay?
I respect that. I think
That
that's the way it
is
should
the
be.
law of the universe. Okay? So when you step out of bounds on that law, then the karmic effect is going to happen. Now, the karma effect is what is the physical and mental and emotional consequences of that action that's going to rip through the whole family from that one
Yes.
action.
Agreed.
Okay? Then when you do get caught,
Totally agree.
you're like, oh my God, what have I done? Okay? Now, besides that, that karmic action is being multiplied within your Akashic records or your life chart. Now, how are you going to explain to God when you go up to get judged why you did it? I don't think you can come up with a justification good enough for God to say, okay, it's okay. I'm not God. I can't speak for him. But from what I know of him and the teachings and every belief, that's not acceptable. So now, Zalisa,
Yeah.
there's a lot of factors that leads
Yeah.
to infidelity.
Yeah. A lot of reasons.
Okay, and I want to start going over this because maybe there's a lot of you out there that's listening. You might be going over this and going through it. And you do not respond. Now, this is the hardest thing for somebody because normally when a spouse finds out, man or woman, all heck breaks loose.
Oh, that will break loose.
Right? And that is the normal human reaction because you feel betrayed. You feel violated. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, but from my point of view, when people come to me, I don't look at that action. It's irrelevant. That action, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying when somebody comes for help, you never look at the action that was done. You have to go way before that and find out what wasn't happening that led that person astray within the relationship. There had to be a breakdown somewhere, okay, unless the person just has a sexual addiction. And there are people like that. They have a mental illness, and they actually, no matter what, they're not going to be satisfied. But communication, people, you should be able to sit down with your spouse and talk. Now, Zalisa made a good point. Sometimes you could talk till you're blue in the face,
And they're not bothered.
and it went through one ear and out the other, right? But let's go a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper. How many of you, and I'm not trying, I don't want you to write and tell me this answer. I just want you to think about it. How many of you are absolutely not satisfied in bed? Now, if you're not, have you talked to your spouse about it? Have you saying, hey, this is the same routine. This is what's going on all the time. I already know how it's going to play out before we start. I probably even know what channel of TV we're going to watch when we're done. That's just the way a lot of marriages go. No, Zalisa, this is true.
Yeah.
Right? But have you talked to your spouse?
Yeah, that's where I believe if you really love that person and you care about that person, what you're saying is correct. You sit and you have a nice conversation, you talk about it and find a solution.
But
if you go ahead without all of this and you you have affairs, because you know some people, they involve with more than one person. You really cannot love, you don't love your partner. You can't love your partner and do that. At least that's my take. I can't love somebody and do that.
Now, so Zelisa, the reason spouses don't talk to their other, significant other, is about this. It's a sensitive issue. And they're afraid they might hurt that person's feelings.
Master Eric.
No, I'm talking about in the bedroom. If they're not performing properly. I'm saying, I've heard a lot of people tell me this when I do counseling.
Okay, they are afraid of how their partner will respond, or if they feel
Right,
less
if
than
they
who
say,
they
hey,
are. Or,
this
okay?
is not good, can we change it?
Okay, all right.
They're
understood.
afraid of
Okay.
trying to hurt the person's
Reach out and
feelings.
explain. Okay, some people are
Right.
afraid, exactly.
So this is another issue.
Okay.
This is where proper communication and understanding comes in. Okay? Now, another part that plays a big part. How many times in the programs we've had over a year and a half, have you heard me tell people, as soon as you get married, you have to put an imaginary plastic bubble around you two, both of you. And you both are the only ones that can say who can enter your space. And it has to be mutual, right? But you know what? They don't do that. Now you've got auntie, mother-in-law, you got everybody entering your space. There could be a relative that moves in for a couple years. You know, you don't want to tell them to leave because you love them and it's your relative. But it's putting tension
On your relationship.
on your relationship. Okay, then there's other factors, exterior factors. It could be work, problems at work.
Finances.
Everything that's coming in at one time. Now, one thing I want to let you know, people, what you do not communicate with your spouse, bet your bottom dollar there's somebody out there that's going to do it for you. And that's when these conversations and these texts become dangerous, because it's going to lead you right into a trap. And why would you want this for yourself and for your spouse? The grass is never greener on the other side. That's why always close this door before you open up another door, because the universe is going to be playing against you on the actual situations. So, Zelisa, another thing you brought up at the beginning, but you didn't know how powerful of a statement that you made, is the number one enemy right now in the world, social media. This is your worst nightmare, because there's Zelisa.
Master Eric, I couldn't agree with you more today, because I'll tell you what, a lot of women, young and old, very vulnerable, especially a divorcee or especially a widow or a woman, elderly women who are feeling less than who they are. They're in a bad place. They don't feel beautiful anymore. They don't feel worthwhile. They don't feel cared for. They don't feel loved. They may be in a marriage as well, and it's a toxic marriage. And what do? This becomes their friend. And there are vultures out there, vultures I'm saying out there, that are waiting to prey on women like that. And it's happening to many women. And they tell them what they want to hear. They
And
fool
men.
them. Oh, you're so beautiful. You're correct as well, yes. You're so beautiful.
See what I say
and
when a
this
woman
and that.
starts going?
But Master Eric, you understand what I'm
No, I'm
saying.
just joking. I'm just joking.
And they get into their bank accounts.
Right now,
And these are things that are happening that people are not talking about.
Right.
And
Now-
the women are ashamed to admit it because they're feeling bad. They don't even know what this man look like.
Well, there's
Fact.
been a lot of women tell me that they got ripped off, and there's a lot of men from other countries that talk sweet talk, and then they keep leading into conversations. It happens with men too, with women, and they start the conversations, then it starts the sweet talk, then it starts maybe even emailing sexual pictures with each other, and then they start asking for money.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And then when the people send money, and even if it's within their own state in the US, or it could be close in another country, when they go to meet them, they never come out.
Never.
Right? And then you can't find them. Right? And they're playing on them. Also, Zalisa, I have heard mothers
Yeah.
tell their daughters, I don't care what you have to do, you land a man with money.
Money.
If you have to have an affair, he will pay you to keep it quiet.
Listen,
So why are we teaching some people, your children,
Master Eric,
to grow up with that mindset?
there are mothers say to their daughters, they know that their daughters are being beaten morning, noon, and night. They know their sons-in-law treating their daughter like crap. And you know what they say to their daughters? Watch the car you're driving, watch the house you're living in, shut your mouth. You could go to the grocery and make a good grocery. Look at the clothes you're wearing, look at whatever, stay there and shut your mouth. There are mothers that do that, Master Eric.
Yeah, I've heard it. I've seen it. I've had a lot of cases of that come to us. Now, let's do another scenario. And you went through it, but you stayed the course. What if a spouse ended up sick? And the spouse, you're going through this for years. And then you get fed up. Well, this other significant other that's chatting with you draws you away from the one that's sick. Now, there's no reason for that. The reason is when you marry somebody, and in the Christian faith, they make it very clear, and the other faiths do, but it's not the exact wording, is that you are getting married for better or for worse, in sickness and in health. What that means, people, you're making a promise. You're making a vow to that person that you love that if they are sick, you will always be there to help them. So before you decide to go astray because your significant other is sick, and let's say people couldn't really find out is having an affair on you.
Well, I'll tell you something, huh? I'm nowhere near perfect, trust me.
None of us are.
But I try my best to do what is right, and I try my best to be the best that I can. My husband, on next Wednesday, which would be the 6th of July, would be 1 year since my husband died. He died because of kidney failure. 2 years prior to that, we found out that he was then diagnosed with a kidney problem. So I need to backtrack and explain something that he said, and that's why I'm saying that he's preaching. So when I think about it, my marriage was in turmoil. Of course, if somebody is sick, the person that used to be the person they were before cannot be the same.
Correct.
But I put all of my energy into, first of all, I had respect for my husband and I had respect for myself. So despite whatever challenges with health or problems that we were facing, I stayed focused because I had a sick husband that I had to take to the doctor and find out. I was producing a new show, think about it,
Yeah.
and I had a child to take care of. So first and foremost, it was trying to focus and try to get help for him, that we even lock up everything and flew to India, spent 6 months there trying to get help, and he collapsed how many times with my child alone in a foreign country with a foreign language.
Yeah.
And Master Eric, I need to say something. I've never said this to you before. There were many people, and I will say men, that I thought were my friends.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say this today as a woman who felt that, you know what, this is an opportunity, boy, trying to whatever. And I would have seen, or you must know, you have a discerning spirit to know who is crossing the line and who's trying.
yeah.
And I had to put people in their place because
See-
they felt I was vulnerable. And oh, God, let me give you a shoulder. Well,
And do you know what? I class them in Trinidad. I call it in Trinidad Kobo. Away, vultures, buzzards. And they're just hovering. They're just waiting. They're waiting for that opportunity. And you know the sad part? A lot of times, they are the friend of the person that's sick. Okay? So when people tell me, oh, this is my friend, and this is my friend, and oh, God, he's my friend too, right? They're not your friends,
show
people.
me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. They're vultures.
No. I always say, everybody, you have acquaintances.
I
You have
agree with
good
that, Master.
acquaintances
I agree.
and bad acquaintances.
Agree, totally agree.
Now, Zalisa, by the time I'm 100 years old, I will have less than this many true friends in my whole life. All right?
I agree. Same
and
here.
she's one of them.
Oh, thank you.
But all I'm saying, and my wife don't count because she is the angel from God that was meant for me.
Oh.
Okay? She will always be there. All I'm trying to say, everybody, don't get caught up in the traps. Don't even go there. Now, do you know what's even worse, Elisa? I mean, 100 times worse than committing just a regular adultery or infidelity. Do you know what's even worse? If you are a spiritual leader and you do it. Right now, I know a lot of spiritual leaders that are doing it. Sometimes they have groups within the actual church. This is forbidden. And if I had the authority, which I don't, they should be declothed and removed from the church.
And I want to say even further.
Or
you
temple or mosque.
And I
Either
also
one.
want to say, Master Eric also talking about when we say spiritual, both men and women, eh?
Yes. So, I want people to try to write in there. Is it worth it? Think about it. Look at all the actual consequences, the domino effect that can happen. Now, what'll even make it worse? What if you have children?
It's worse when you have children. And Master Eric,
And-
what about your conscience that you have to live with that for the rest of your life? But then some people don't have a conscience, you know.
That's what I was just going to say. Now, they're not going to have a conscience, Lisa, until the day their soul leaves their body.
Aha.
And then when they see what's waiting for them, and what's waiting for them is called the Yamdoots.
Please explain.
The Yamdoots is the Lord of Death's messengers. And there are Yamdoots for the good people, and there's Yamdoots for the bad people. And those who committed vile sins which infidelity is one of them. And you know what, Zelisa? I think we may do the same show twice in one day, because there's a lot of viewers on TV that doesn't view this, and there's some that view this that doesn't watch the TV.
Conversations, right?
The reason I said this is because I can go in detail, or we, I should say we, not I, the detail in every belief, word for word, from the scriptures. The process of when the Yamdutes come to you, it is not nice. And then what's going to happen when you reach the golden gates? You will know that per belief. It may not be enough time in 1 hour to do it. We may do 2 shows with it. But I think this should show you what the consequences are, not just on earth. A lot of times, you people out there, and I didn't when I was young, so I have to admit that, I didn't know the difference between earth crimes and sins.
Because you were not aware of it, but you are now.
No, I was taught by my guru. So what I'm saying, we're going to add and incorporate that into the show.
Nice.
Because what is classed as a crime on earth may not be a sin. And what may be classed as a sin on earth, I want you to understand.
That's interesting, Master Eric.
Let me give you an example.
Please do.
Adultery. It's became a norm in the world today.
Yeah.
It's a norm.
It is.
Right? Do you get sentenced to prison for committing adultery?
No.
But it's a massive sin. And I could go through all these here, and you'll be amazed at what most of the people in the world, what they're doing, and without the lack of knowledge, they don't even understand what they're creating for when they leave this earth. People, okay, let me ask you something. Here's another thing that people don't understand. Mm-hmm. How many times do you hear people say, "I love you"? They say it all the time, right?
People tell me,
but here's the problem. But here's the problem. You could love a puppy. You could love a song. And we were talking about Italian pizza before the thing. And I even stated, I love that pizza. Right? Right? So the word love is very vague.
Yes.
But the question is...
We use it casually, yeah?
But the question is, are you in love?
That's beautiful. Because you can love someone... But not necessarily be in love with them. Very true. Correct. There's a big difference, Master Eric. And I want to ask a question here.
Well, let me take a drink of coffee.
Have your coffee. Master Eric, something that we spoke about time after time, and that, of course, would be the sins of the parents falling on the children. Mm-hmm. In terms of adultery, where the child or children, they're not responsible for the choices the parents make. I want to talk about that in terms of a curse. Can your children or grandchildren be cursed because of your infidelity?
I have to be honest. Cursed? No.
Okay.
Karma? Yes. There's a huge difference between a curse
Please explain.
and karma.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember when I did that brief program on your morning show, and I talked about karma, and I said there is long-term karma, medium-term karma, and short-term karma. Now, I want you to understand, let's go over short-term, because that's what this deals with here. Short-term karma, let's say you had children, right? And a lot of people say, well, karma is something that comes to you either from a good action or a bad action. And you will reap the consequences from the action that you conduct, whether it's good or bad. So now an innocent child, let's say they're 8 and 9 years old, they're innocent. But one of the parents commit adultery. Well, when the other one finds out, trust me, have you ever met one of your friends when they're going through this and it's not no tra-la-la conversation? Now the fighting, everything starts. Division starts right in front of the kids. Now, from that one action, you've demolished your relationship. You've demolished the secondary family, which is going to be the mother, father, brother, sister, and primarily that karmic reaction hits your child immediately because you've embedded something in them emotionally and mentally.
Correct.
And then, if it cannot be mended and a divorce happens, look at what you have just created for your own children. This is short-term karma. Now, that karma isn't directly made by the children, but the children have no choice but to receive that karma from the father or the mother.
And I think that's unfair though, but why
No,
should
but do
children...
you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but why should children be held responsible, or karma should be their karma? I mean, if
Now-
their father chooses to play around and be unfaithful, or mother, vice versa.
The children are not responsible. Whether they want it or not,
They don't have a choice.
they're going to receive it. Now, that's going to embed...
So is it their karma that they would have to, this is their life?
Could be. Remember, before you're born,
Wow.
you pick your mother
This
and
is
father.
deep.
You pick your mother, not your father. So you already know what type of parent you're coming with into this world. And maybe you did pick that parent to work off some karma that you've actually done in your past life.
Well, some people
Now,
are
that's
looking at
long.
this, Master Eric. Some people are looking at this right.
If you have a lot of karma in the past, and from your past life, whether you believe in it or not, just think about it. And God gave you a chance to come down here and work that karma off as a penance. And you
okay.
actually pick a mother like this, knowing she's like this, then your job when you come is to try the best of your ability to help change your mother. To try somehow.
Master Eric, that is so deep.
And that is the purpose. You pick your parents. Also, you also know the siblings you're going to have.
Lord Father.
And your job might be the one that actually, through everyday life or through a tragedy, that you'll be the one to reunite them. You know, and that's what it's like. See, this is like the conversation, and we haven't had it yet on TV, and I'll give a hint. Do you know where everybody goes when they die first? Before you get judged?
It's a very good question.
Everyone goes to hell first. And if you read the Bible, all you vivid Bible readers out there, where did Jesus go when he left? He went to hell. And if you're a good soul, just like being born into a bad mother, your job, you're supposed to drop down to hell, The Lord of Death will say, why are you here? And when your divine soul gets into a spiritual body, it knows. And what your job is, people, before you go to heaven, is to try to liberate somebody that's in your family or a friend that might reside in hell.
Master Eric, what do you say to people who say, or their firm belief, is heaven and hell is right here? There are people who live by that. Heaven and hell is right here. What do you say to those people?
Technically, I'm going to be honest, technically, you're right. And then technically, you're wrong. Now let me explain this. We talked this morning about souls that doesn't leave the earth. And all they do is wander and go through. And after 5 years, they turn negative. And if they don't find a spiritual person that's good, they're trapped here. Now, imagine being trapped here. No one can see you. You're lonely. You're living with people, but they can't see you and understand you. Some scholars around the world call that the hell of earth. So this is where part of that statement is correct.
Okay.
And then some people that learn spirituality early in their life, they don't look at earth and they don't look at people like normal people. And do you know, people, just from your mindset that you live every day decides whether that day is going to be good or bad. And you could live a heavenly earth if you learn the traits and live of spirituality. Then,
so we all have the power and choice to do that?
yeah.
We all do.
Then you have the real heavens, and you're probably wondering, why is he saying heavens?
Aha.
There are 7 realms in the universe, people. And within each realm is 9 stages, 9 levels. So the bottom 3 realms, realm 1, 2, and 3, are the realms of hell. Now, within each realm, there are 9 stages. So 3 times 9 is 27. Mm-hmm. There's 27 different hells.
Wow.
And I think I need to do that program.
I think we need to do that program.
And describe them. We have it all described. The descriptions are meticulous. Okay. Then it also states what sin sends you to each one. Now, a lot of you are saying, but we learned there's only one hell and one heaven. Well, you got realms 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are heavens. Okay? Now, let's talk about hell. And then we'll say, okay, adultery. Wow. They're in realm 1, stage 3. I know that for a fact. So we're going to go over that in another program. So, think about it. When a person is tried for a crime on earth, are they going to put a multi-serial killer in the same room as a drug carrier? It don't happen. They're segregated. You have
Understood.
lifetime,
Right, yeah.
you have medium,
Right.
and you got short
You're
term.
very correct, yeah.
Okay?
Very correct.
Then you have some that committed a crime, but they're in parole status. Right? The same way in hell. You can't put all the type of sinners into one.
Understood.
Okay? So we're going to go over that. I want you to understand, God is the perfect architect. I say this all the time.
You do.
He has made the universe perfect. We are the ones with our ego, our pride, and this is what leads us to infidelity. When somebody starts to boof you up and say, oh my God, you're perfect.
Fool
You're
you.
so handsome. And in Trinidad, we say they're mama guying you, right? They're telling you what you want to hear.
Not what you need to hear.
They are fulfilling your ego, your pride. Now, that's one thing, and I got to say something real quick.
Please.
And then I'll explain it coming up in another program. Do you know why the Hindus prayed to Lord Surya? Which is the sun
Surya
god,
is the sun god, yeah.
Sun
on
god?
a Sunday.
right? And the Indians, the American Indians, the Mayans, the
Aztecs, yeah.
Aztecs, all of them prayed to Surya, right? Just a different name they had, right? The representation in what you see in the pictures, there's a chariot, and then you have 5 horses
Yes.
in the front.
Yes.
Then there's a guy in the chariot,
Correct.
and he's holding the reins of the
I'm
horses,
visualizing it right now, yeah.
right? And then there's a little person sitting down in the center of the chariot. Well, that represents every one of them. The chariot is your body. Your mind is the one holding the reins. The 5 horses is your senses.
Wow.
And the little person below the person driving the chariot is the soul. And if your soul, you're not connected with your soul, and you're in control of that mind, if you're not in control, those 5 horses are going to run away with you, your desires. Okay? So we're going to get into that because
What a
I can show
wonderful
you the
explanation.
symbolics and a lot of things that are out there. But the problem is people are saying, well, I'm told not to even look that way. Well, whoever said that, they don't know what they're doing. Because let me ask you something. I believe in all the scriptures. That's why I have what little knowledge I do have. I tried to learn as much about God and the universe, right? And one question I have to ask all of you. If God is infinite, he has no beginning and no end, then why do we keep saying he's finite? By having one book with a front cover and back cover, and that's it. That's why God put all of us different on the earth, to see if we could all get along, respect each other, and learn why we think the way we do. Right? And another question I have to ask you. If you are doing infidelity, it's never too late to stop it. It's
Because you
never
have
too
the
late.
knowledge now. You know better now. Master Eric, I think it's also important before we wrap up that I, with the knowledge that I know about you with regard to your competence and knowledge that you have in many faiths, I think it's important that I share that with our viewers. Master Eric is very competent and very versed and knowledgeable, not just in one religion, but many. So when he would talk to us about the Bible or the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or whatever
The Torah.
holy scriptures that he would, pull or abstract information from, it's because he has knowledge, researched, and knowledge, and of course experiences over the years with the many people that you've helped, the thousands of people that you've really helped.
And real quick, I know there's a lot of people that say they're vivid Bible readers, right? Watch people.
Pay attention to this.
This is one of the oldest Bibles you can get. The pages are fused together, right? This Bible is nothing close to what you're reading today
Yeah.
because it's been translated and watered down through all the hundreds and thousands of years.
I'm also
Right.
looking at all of the different, the Bhagavad Gita, Rishiv Puran.
Right here is one of the oldest reminds. This is the first edition.
Yeah. The Quran.
So I got the Quran, I got
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
People, that's how we learn in life. We need
Knowledge
to
is power, eh?
knowledge. Okay, when you really start reading the different scriptures, you know they all sound alike.
True.
The only difference was key individuals within the book. But then I will go over how in the Rig Veda, Jesus was prophesied 4,000 years before Jesus was born.
Wow.
Okay, but anyhow, people, if you are committing adultery or infidelity, even with your mind, it's never too late to stop.
Stop it.
Show God you're trying to change and that you're trying to learn. And if you are, just take 1 minute and look at your spouse and wonder, wow, why did I fall in love with her in the first place?
Well, that's nice. Or him. Why did I
Right.
fall in love with her or him?
So what I'm trying to say,
Go back to that
bring
place.
that spark back.
Nice.
Okay?
Yeah.
But everybody, it's been fantastic being with you tonight. I want to thank Anais and always Lisa.
Oh, it's been an awesome show.
And I want to say always thank you to my wife. You
She's a
see
gem.
how she is.
She is a queen. She's a gem, a true darling.
And she's always supporting,
Very.
no matter what.
She's awesome.
So everybody, you have a great night and think about your life. And where are you now? Okay?
And I also want to remind you, if you're in a place where you know you're challenged, you're in a storm and you need help, then reach out and get help. You can connect with Master Eric at 354-4459. 354-4459. Now understand his phone will be flooded. So all you need to do, if you can't get through, send a WhatsApp message and someone will respond. God's blessings to you. Thanks for choosing us. Have yourselves an awesome, awesome day. Looking forward to next week
Next week.
already.